Madison Public Library connects us to the world, to information, and to each other. September is Library Card Sign-Up Month, so it's the perfect time to explore all that's available to you with a Madison Public Library card. Their online resources include access to the New York Times and the Washington Post, and my favorite, the Libby app, to download audio and ebooks from their collection. Visit madpl.org/signupmonth or stop into any Madison Public Library location to get a card and discover everything you can access with it.
Today on CityCast Madison. It's Tuesday, so it's time for another installment of Must See Madison. Today, the team hits up the north side of Madison as I, producer Phil Circus, who's a relative newbie to town, recently moved up north. So, from Cherokee Marsh to Troy Farms, from the effigy mounds to our state's first mental hospital, we gab about many of the north side's gemmiest gems. It's Tuesday, September 24th. I'm Phil Circus, and here's what Madison's talking about.
We are here for Must See Madison. The crew's in the house. Phil Circus, what is happening?
Oh my goodness, so much is happening. But before I tell you, because I'm going to tell you some things, you know who else is in the house? Haley Sperling, our executive producer.
Hello, I am also here.
Yeah, there's so much happening. It's been a minute since I was here on the pod, but the last time, I didn't really tell the listeners last time, it was the end of an era for me. That's to say, it was the end of my 6-month lease in the Sassy neighborhood where I lived with my wife, Jen, and our dog, Marty. We lived in Sassy for our first 6 months in Madison.
And for those who don't know what Sassy is, because we know it, because
Haley told me. Can you tell us what that stands for?
It is the Shank Atwood Starkweather Yahara neighborhood. That is what it breaks down to. And this is the end. This is the end of East Side Phil, isn't it?
It's the end of East Side Phil. Sassy, I loved it. The narrow streets, the joggers, the dog walkers, hammocks as far as the eye can see. Sometimes stacked 5 humans high, those hammocks. Have you seen that?
Oh, yeah. And I wish I was one of them. I need to get a hammock. I'm not a real East Sider because I don't have a hammock, and I don't hammock on Yahara, but that's the best.
I don't hammock on Yahara sounds like another podcast. That was just very poetic, Haley. I really enjoyed my time on the East Side. I loved it. Moonrise over Monona. Such a beautiful lake. But now, Jen and I and Marty, we've moved to a more permanent residence on a side of town that doesn't really rhyme with anything. It's called the North Side.
North Side Circus.
North Side Circus. I'm asking you, Haley and Bianca, since the two of you know this town well, and since you're getting to know me and Jen, did you ever figure us as North Side folk? Does it track?
I think it does, actually.
I would agree. I do think it tracks. I think North Side is it's like grown up East Side.
Grown
in
residential.
A way.
Oh, it's like that, huh?
Residential.
I'm a grown up. Okay, I get it.
You're like a real.
People aren't
real
looking for $1 million
grown-up.
houses on this.
I think people are a little more
But
realistic
nice
on the
places.
North Side.
Yeah.
And the East Side, we live in like La La Land, and that's it. But that's also to say, like, I love the North Side, and I mean, you guys know, I almost became a North Sider as well because I was looking to move out of Sassy, but that didn't come to fruition, but Phil did.
Yeah, I still think there's hope for you to become a North Sider. But yeah, no, East Side, La La Land, that does track. I get it. It was like wonderful. It was like I was living in Disneyland for 6 months. That's a lie because I've never been to Disneyland. I don't know. But
Stop lying to these people, Phil.
What is true?
What's true is that Jen and I have been North Siders for about almost 25 days now.
Nice.
And so I want to share some of the things I've discovered. I mean, it's been a busy time. And I also want to ask if people listening are our favorite people in the world, the CityCast listeners, if you could let me know if you have any favorite spots on the North Side, please let me know. Where should they send their information to, Haley?
You still don't know.
People should send their requests or their thoughts and feelings for Phil to madison@citycast.fm. You can reach us there. You can also reach us by calling on the phone and leaving a voicemail. That number is 608-318-3367. But Phil, tell us your recommendations. How's Northside life been so far?
Well, I have a little story to go with my first recommendation. Just kind of weird. So I moved here back in March, as I've told people several times. And the very first place that I drove my car to when I moved to Madison, looking for a place to walk Marty the dog, I went online and then I found this place that the description of it looked great. It was called the Cherokee Marsh Conservation Trail. And it was at 104 Sawed Off Road. Sawed Off. It sounds like sawed off shotgun, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say that sounds like a little dangerous. We like a little spice.
Now, in March, when I drove Marty to this place, I had no idea, north side from south side, east, west. I had no idea. But I did drive there back in March, and I found out that no dogs, that's when I learned no dogs are allowed in conservation parks. So I had to take them somewhere else. But now it's near where I live. So I've been to the Cherokee Marsh Conservation Trail. It's a beautiful wooded trail. And if you're ever in need of a tree bath, if you need to escape somewhere in the middle of this urban oasis, and there are these trails everywhere, but this one is on the north side and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And I have to say, if you're like me and you spend 24/7 with your dog, you just want to get away, go to a conservation trail, especially the Cherokee Marsh Conservation Trail.
Yeah, it's been a recommendation from a few guests that we've had on. Dexter
Really?
Patterson, the BIPOC Birding Club of Wisconsin, one of those members. He's said that's a great place for birding. And our mayor, Satya Rhodes Conway, said that that's a place that she goes to hang out and be happy in Madison. And I just went recently because I knew that it was something you were going to recommend. And it's just absolutely gorgeous. And learning it's Dane County's largest wetland.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, which isn't, when you look at it, it's huge when you look at the map, and it almost seems like there are lakes, but it's just this fat river. Yahara River is really fascinating, but it's huge, and then there's lily pads, and it was gorgeous. And it's the benefit of conservation efforts, because those wetlands actually were used to be drained for agricultural purposes, and now
I'm so glad you went. You went this morning, Bianca.
I went this morning.
That's amazing. And did it totally
set
you up for the most beautiful day?
It really. I just did a Northside journey. I also ended at Troy Farms, which is the epitome of heaven, possibly. But yeah, starting at the marsh was really, really gorgeous. And actually, that dog park has a canoe launch area.
Yeah.
It was it's a little bit of a walk. It's 400 paces from the parking lot from the dog park to this little.
Did you count it out?
I sure as hell didn't, but there was a sign.
Did you go there? Did you walk the 400 paces?
I did. I walked the paces, and I recognized this place is, even more magical than I thought. And just growing up in Wisconsin, our wetlands and prairies, it's just so, I don't know, it's so representative of our landscape's natural beauty. And I saw 2 different sets of cranes, and it's hot stuff.
I love that. Oh my God. Yes, Phil, to answer your question, I have been out there. It is a beautiful spot. And I think it is such a great place for folks who are looking to, like you mentioned, kind of get away without going too far, because we've said this endless times. I love Tenney Park. I love Yahara Place Park. We love all of those East Side spots. But sometimes it is still just a little too close to home. It can get a little crowded there, especially Tenney, especially James Madison when the students are back in town, which they are right now. Cherokee Marsh, it is beautiful, and it is sprawling, and it is such an amazing ecosystem out there. And there's a lot more to explore on the north side too, right? Tell us, where else have you been hitting up?
Oh my goodness. Well, you walk through the conservation park. It's beautiful, but you get hungry. This is usually how it goes. You walk through nature, you get hungry. And this is kind of bittersweet. It's sad for me because I was sad to leave Sassy, because the food around there, the food options, the restaurants, I miss Green Owl Cafe like no one's business.
No.
I don't know. I don't know if I've said it on the show before, but I love those owl fries so much. Have I said this before?
We know that you're a green owlet.
Okay.
Is that what they're called? Green owlets?
Well, at least owlet is the name of the Beanie Baby.
I know we have owls on the north side, but those owl fries, I miss them. So I did find a place, though, to eat. It's unusual in kind of the way that I really like.
Okay.
I'm talking about the Athens Grill of Westport. You know, technically it's over the Madison line, and technically I don't know if it's in Westport or is it pronounced Wanakee?
There you go.
Yes, you got it.
Oh, okay. It's confusing. I was wondering if I could get a live fact check from Haley Sperling to tell me what town the Athens Grill of Westport is actually in. Can I get a live fact check?
That's such a great question. Where the Athens Grill is?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's called the Athens Grill of Westport, but the address is technically 5430 Willow Road, Wanakee. So I'm not sure what to make of that fact check.
I don't know what to make of it either.
It's because there's a Westport Road right next to it.
That makes sense.
I'm also sleuthing.
You are a genius, Bianca Martin.
Mystery.
You are a genius. That's why it's called that, because otherwise I've been confused this whole time. But yeah, it's not even on Westport. It's just near Westport Road. But Jen and I went there for one of their Friday fish fry specials.
Yes, we've heard really good things. Linda Falkenstein, when she was on CityCast way back in the early days, that was one of her top recommendations for fish fry, I remember.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So it's a tried and true spot.
I like hearing all this affirmation of these things that I'm just discovering. It's really cool. So we got it to go. You know that place, it's like a drive-through, but it's also a big space inside. And it's really trippy because there's a drive-through, there's a line of cars driving up to get their Friday fish fry to go, Mickey D style. And then inside, it's like a big bar.
That tracks.
Yeah, there are two video games, Star Wars and Toy Story.
Okay. The two genders.
The only reason I remember seeing them, but I had to go to pinballmap.com to verify it. So if anyone, you need to know what's where, pinballmap.com.
They were both pinball games?
No, they're actually video games, but pinballmap.com doesn't.
They do it all.
Matter. They do it all. They do it all. So, and then there's like a fast food, or not a fast food counter, but a to-go counter there, fast food styled. There's a market there that is a trip because this market sells mostly top shelf whiskeys. Now, what's that about?
Interesting.
Is that
What's that not about? No,
right.
Because that's what I'm all about. No, frozen pizza. You can get frozen pizzas from this market.
Nice.
You're kind of captivated by this Athens Grill.
Oh, I am totally captivated. While we waited, Jen and I walked on this Jackson Landing Trail, which is right there. It's another beautiful wooded / prairie walk. So this neighborhood's sick with wooded prairie walks, and I love it.
I would say like Wanakee is kind of a sleeper. It's again not that far from Madison, but so many good trails and so many good spots to go. You mentioned Athens. I have to get a shout out to my friend Eleanor, who works over out at Lone Girl Brewing Company. Really solid spot in Wanakee. And one thing that's interesting for the Madison crowd is they actually just opened up a tap room. There is pizza over on East Washington Ave, over in the Marling apartment buildings, and they're amazing. The bartender, Landon, I believe his name is, he's a gem. Go check him out. It's super fun. They just opened recently within the past couple of months, that tap room down here.
I'm excited. That's really cool. That's amazing. Yeah. I haven't even mentioned the food, but we got the perch for the fish fry. It was delicious. It was one of the best fish fries I've had out of probably the 3 I've had here.
Wow. Now this is saying something, because we had fish fry at the Tip Top, and you were like, feels familiar.
Feels familiar. We need to go back to the Tip Top to order some of the other things that were suggested by the people standing outside.
But Athens Grill is a place for fish fry.
But I just think it's trying to do a lot of things at once, and it kind of works. It kind of works.
That's usually not how that sentence ends, you know?
Greek food and meadows.
I know. I told you it was kind of unusual in a kind of way that I like. They have like all these different nights of the week are different specials. They have like a twist on Taco Tuesdays. They call it Taco Thursdays.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tacos on Thursday?
So I mentioned pizzas and tacos. They also have Greek food. Yes.
Nice.
They have is it pronounced
That's what
gyro?
I would have expected.
Gyro?
Gyro, yeah.
Which I'm excited to go back for. All right, let's stop talking about the Athens Grill. It's wonderful. I love it. It's in Westport, but it's actually Waunakee.
So what's the rating?
Oh, going to the ratings. Madison, where have you been my whole life? Or Waunakee, where have you been my whole life?
I love it. I love it. We found a winner.
So you're listening to CityCast Madison. You clearly care about what's happening in our city, and you have excellent taste in podcasts. I've got a recommendation for another local news podcast you gotta check out. It's called 365 Amplified. Every week, the award-winning reporting team behind Madison 365 digs into their most important stories from the week. Stories and perspectives you likely won't get from other mainstream outlets. They invite community leaders, lawmakers, artists, and more on for candid conversations. Recent guests have included former Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes, State Assembly candidate Renuka Mayadev, and Olympic 200-meter silver medalist Kenny Bednarek. Yeah. Look for new episodes every Friday at madison365.org/amplified or search 365 Amplified wherever you're listening to this right now.
If your business needs a new application, then developers will have to write code. A lot of code. If an application needs to be modernized, then you'll need time, resources, and caffeine. If this sounds daunting, then use Watson X Code Assistant. Built with IBM's Granite code model, it's AI designed to multiply developer productivity so you can generate code quickly. Learn more at ibm.com/codeassistant. IBM, let's create.
I have another thing that's kind of very unusual, and it's a big winner in my experience in Madison. I'm going back to nature with this next share. It's going to be a surprise. It's a place where you can see like deer frolicking, beaches, unparalleled views of Lake Mendota. I'm talking about the Mendota Mental Health Institute.
Classic. Amazing. Take us down this journey, Phil.
Well, there's I don't know the acreage, but it's a very expansive campus space, and the public is totally allowed to wander these grounds. And it takes up a good chunk of the north side. It kind of connects to Governor's Island, I think, and it's near Maple Bluff, but it's just a very massive area that I was reading about the Mendota Mental Health Institute, and it was instigated on these grounds because they thought that people needed to be in a very nature-like environment to be healthy. But like they broke ground back there back in 1860. That's when they first started putting buildings up there, and it was known as the Wisconsin Insane Asylum.
Well,
Yep.
we've grown since then. They also
Our
have
first mental hospital in Wisconsin.
Oh, that's another. Bianca's coming with all the fun facts today. They
love
also,
it.
I know they've
you
got.
two you got my back with fun facts, and I love it.
It's a spooky place to me, but it actually is nature filled. And I took a drive and saw a deer. I saw two doe. I saw a mom and a daughter. I don't know if it was a daughter. I assume it is. But I was actually shocked. I was like, this is huge. They didn't speak to me. They didn't notice me. But it's like a campus. It really is the sprawling space. But it's got a crazy history.
It does.
Crazy is not pun intended. But Ed Gein died there.
Really? That's another fun fact.
Yeah. Well, it was a hospital. They called it the Wisconsin Hospital for the Insane. Of course, we don't use those words anymore, but it was a mental hospital, right? And then now it's more for like men who are in the correctional system, including also, I guess, teenagers too.
Yes, it's also
and
a
if they're
juvenile
kind of being
detention center.
Juvenile detention, yeah.
So let's go over the facts that we've established. Creepy vibes, check. A sordid history, definitely. But the grounds are lovely. Jen and I were walking there, and there was a guy there. His dog was swimming in Lake Mendota, and he said, it's good for humans, too.
Okay.
It's true. When it's not, except for when it's not.
Except for when it's not. Another thing is that there are also effigy mounds over on the Mental Health Institute grounds, which is actually pretty cool. And yeah, it really is just a sprawling space. And it kind of feels like one of those places where you're like, I'm not supposed to be here, but you're allowed to be there. And that's actually pretty cool, right? And like you're encouraged to like, walk around the space and use it and enjoy the nature because it really is so beautiful. My friend and I were out there and we found like one time, because he likes to dig around in the dirt, as boys do, and we found like a Mountain Dew can from probably like the 80s or something. Like you could tell because the way that the can was made was very old and very different, and the logo was very old and very different. So there's a lot of fun adventures to be had out in those woods.
Can I drop one more fact?
Please.
Yes.
So one of the effigy mounds that you're talking about is the largest bird effigy mound in the world.
Wow.
It's supposed to be either an eagle or a thunderbird, and it's their wingspan. But that's something really interesting to check out.
But that's the logo of the Mendota Mental Health Institute, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're we're obsessed with the Mendota.
Yeah, we're planting the seeds. We're going to do a whole series on this place because it's fascinating. Aside from the fact that the walks are just so nice. And it's across from Troy Street Community Farms. You went there, right, Bianca?
Yeah, it's really close by. Yep. Troy, I don't know, is it Troy Drive? Yeah, I was kind of shocked. I was driving through and then I was like, oh, here's Governor's Island. And then Troy Farms is right over there and then not too far away from Warner Park. But Troy Farms is a gosh darn heavenly spot in terms of community gardens. It's just, I can't believe I haven't seen it already. I want to just sit down there and hang. There's pumpkins and basil and kale and, all sorts of stations. It looks like there's like a wood fire, like an oven for making pizzas. Like there's all sorts of stuff over there. It's cute.
It is such a beautiful community garden. They have chickens out there. One time when I was taking photos for the Where Is It segment for Madison Minutes, I went up to Troy Farms because I was like, I heard there are chickens up here and I want to put some chickens in the email. And I did. And I took this I thought it was kind of funny and like badass photo of these two chickens like kind of coming up at ya. So yeah, subscribe to Madison Minutes for more fun content like that.
Facts.
Love that. So if you're like me, walking around a mental health institute can be a little soul stirring. It could stir your soul a little bit.
Really,
it can make you hungry. You see where I'm going with this? It can make you hungry. But there's a new place on the north side that's actually the second location of a place that I think is sort of close to you, Haley. It's called El Sabor de Puebla number 2. That's what just opened up.
Yes, it's so good.
On 1849 Northport Drive.
Yes.
So good. You've been there more than once.
I've ordered takeout from there multiple times, and they've also had they've had their food truck over at a couple of like community and neighborhood festivals. I believe they were at Waterfront Festival when that was the first time that I had their food. And the tacos are amazing. The burritos are amazing. Like it's just really good, like genuine Mexican food and just so tasty. And yeah, when I heard that they were taking over that big spot over in Northport, like it just made a lot of sense. So I haven't been to the new spot yet, but I do definitely want to check it out. Did you go inside the new spot?
I went inside. We got food to go. You're also hearing a trend there, getting a lot of food to go. But
you saw the inside. And what was that
I saw
like?
the inside, and it is massive. It's a few different rooms. It's very festive. I so hope it becomes a community hub, just a gathering place, because the people there are so nice. The food, I think it may have been some of the best Mexican fare I've had in Madison.
Yeah.
It was so good. The mole they have, we had a burrito poblano with mole, and we had tamales there and chile relleno, and it was all like so fun, so good. I'm sorry, I have to leave this podcast right now because I want it so bad.
You're getting
excited.
Excited for some more El Sabor de Puebla.
I am. So I think that opened pretty recently, and I'm just like so happy that that's an option for me here on
I love
the
it.
north side.
That's like a happening shopping spot. I go up there probably pretty often, more often than I need to, because there's a Goodwill over there. And y'all know I love hitting up that Goodwill. There's also the Willie Street Co-op, the north side version over there. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and it's super close to Warner Park, which is something that we haven't really even touched on. But there's the Duck Pond, which is where the Mallards play, and now the Nightmares. Also a very beautiful and sprawling. I don't think people also really realize how big Warner Park is. It is massive. I have also seen some really cool cranes there. We love to see the cranes. They're kind of cool. And when they fly, they really do look like dinosaurs, which is just really fun.
They really do. God, Haley, you're listing all these wonderful things. It sounds like you're talking about the best of Madison or something like that.
She is.
Yes. And speaking of Best of Madison, we've got a fun little announcement that Bianca and I actually traveled over to the north side today. We stopped over at North Street because Madison Magazine was handing out the Best of Madison Awards, and we won gold for Best Local Podcast. Yay. And here's the certificate that proves it. It's beautiful. You can check out the cover of the Madison Magazine. It says Best of Madison. And yeah, CityCast Madison, thank you to everyone who voted and who made our dreams come true, because this is so amazing. We work really hard every day for y'all, and to get recognition like that, it really is special. This is 2 years in a row for us, right, B?
Yes, it's our second year. It's each year that we've been running. And yeah, just thank you guys so much. It's just such a pleasure to do this and be in a community with you. And thank you to you guys, my teammates.
Yeah, teamwork. Phil, you've been part of this too. You definitely count on this best.
Woo. That's what I've been saying. I've been saying woo in the background. But no, yeah, it's very exciting. It's very thrilling. I feel proud to be working with you two on this podcast, and proud that we get to connect with the community like we do. I think it's a great recipe. It's a great formula, and I'm glad that people are recognizing it.
And since we know y'all are out there, you're listening, you're voting for us, let us know where we should go, because we want to keep these parties going. So do write in and tell Phil where to go next. Tell all of us to go next. I mean, there are just gems all around Madison that, we just are continually learning things every day. So if you know about a hot spot, share.
Send us an email.
Please tell me what it means to be a North Sider before I figure it out on my own. Please.
I want to know what love is.
Send us an email.
Show me.
call us on our phone. And yeah, there's so much to explore on the north side. I'm so stoked. I mean, we didn't even talk about Lola's or the North Side Lounge, but
Beer
so
Rock.
we're just going to have to do another
Lola's.
episode on this.
Oh yeah. The Sunday farmers market.
Yes. They've got great marimbas. I've had my tarot cards read there too.
Oh, fun.
Well, then I'll see you all at the farmers market. One of these days.
See you on the north side at the North Side Farmers Market, perhaps. All right.
That's host Bianca Martin, Haley Sperling, our executive producer, and me chatting it up about the North Side. And while we're at it, do you have any North Side hotspots you'd love to recommend? Places we should visit or you think others should know more about? Let us know. Leave us a voicemail at 608-318-3367 or email us at madison@citycast.fm. We would really love your rec so we can explore Madison together. That's all for today here on CityCast Madison. If you enjoyed today's show, why not share this podcast with a North Sider? See you back here tomorrow with more stories from around the city.